Zealanders is a fairly relaxed affair, but if you're a motorcycle enthusiast or a racer, Christmas means one thing: bolt down to Christmas dinner and get to Wanganui.
This is Christmas for me. My father started bringing me here when I was 3 for my first time, so this is what I know. This is Christmas.
You seem to thrive on the street circuit, Sean. You seem to grow another leg. What do you put that down, especially Wanganui?
I just love this place. I mean, motorcycles are designed to ride on the road in the first place. My father, as I said, has been bringing me here since I was 3. I just love it. The atmosphere here is fantastic. Everybody tries really hard. I don't know, I guess it's a little bit of the craziness in me coming out or something like that. I'm not sure, but I love it. Absolutely love it here.
What is it about Wanganui that gets you all jazzed up?
The crowd. Yeah, I love the atmosphere. The street circuits are the best to come for the crowd. Oh, it's just tight, hard work, but a lot of fun. More riders are here. No, it's great.
Well, the first race we're about to show you in the Sanyong Cemetery Circuit coverage for 2005 is the Formula 2s, brought to you by Suzuki New Zealand. Watch for bike number 52 on the front row. That is John Hepburn from Timaru. Joining me in commentary once again, Paul Pavlidis, a man that has led and won every class here at Wanganui. Paul, great day, great atmosphere and great racing.
Oh, it is, and there's a huge crowd here today. This is the biggest crowd I've seen in many, many years. And the distributors are right in behind it. There's Kawasaki, Suzuki's, Yamahas, they're all out there.
So we get this graphic shot of the cemetery circuit from on board with John Hepburn in the front at the moment, but he's got a tiger on his tail because that is bike number 56, the Haldane Motorcycle Suzuki Craig Sheriff's fastest round here overall last year on a 600 machine. It's the 600 he's riding at the moment, and he is pressuring John Hepburn as they work up into the Robert Holden turn. Kawasaki in the front.
These are fantastic machines to ride around here too, because they're not too powerful and you can carry a lot of corner speed. They don't want to flick you over the hay bales at 75, 80 mile an hour.
Up and over the Vespa Bridge for the first time, and across the Sanyong start-finish line they go. Nothing in it at the front of the field. It is John Hepburn in the lead. It is Craig Sheriffs in second place, and it's an Australian. Bike number T in third, all the way from Sydney. His first look at Wanganui, and that is Alex Tomasetti.
Well, Sheriff lined that up 2 corners back. He went up really high and wide, carried a lot more corner speed, and just zapped Johnny through the right-hander.
So over the famous railway line they go, up through the Suzuki S's, now heading for the Robert Holden turn. You're on board with John Hepburn as he chases down this man. 56, Craig Sheriff. He has brought 2 600cc machines here to Wanganui. One is a hot rod. He'll run that in the Formula Wanganui and the Robert Holden Memorial if he's fast enough. This, though, is the production bike, and it's leading at the moment. 52, Hepburn in second place on the Kawasaki. The last time we looked, it was an Australian. Oh, Paul Pavlidis, how close did he get to the hay bale?
That was scary. He was 2 inches off hurting himself then.
Expert comments coming from a man that has been there and done that, Paul Pavlidis, as we watch Craig Sheriffs rounding out the Bridgestone turn and down onto the high-equipped straight. There is Hepburn in second place. It should still be the Australian. It is in third. Then it's bike number 9. That's Derek McAdam. And also in there, number 4 on the Yamaha. Mr. Consistent on the Yamaha. That is Craig Gollop.
One thing I like about Craig Sheriff, he's really cool and calm. He never seems to get flustered, and he'll take that to stride, that big slide coming over the hill.
So this battle we're watching at the moment, the battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th. T. Alex Tomasetti from New South Wales in Sydney, and he has never ridden a street circuit before. He was the fastest qualifier in the first session at Wanganui this morning, and he is doing a fantastic job, currently running in the top 5. This man, though, well, he is out in front and stretching the lead almost effortlessly, Paul.
Yeah, he is, and there's a Suzuki out front, followed by 3 Kawasaki's. The number 9 bike, although it's painted black, it's definitely a Kawasaki.
It's Derek McAdam on the Kawasaki, the Sawyer Motorcycles Museum Hotel machine. Same team as we'll see Bruce Anstey riding for a little bit later on. Behind him, it's number 4, that's Craig Gollop. And then it looks like it was Matt Ford. We'll check on that as he comes just a little bit closer. But the Australian holding his own here.
Yeah, I think he's holding up McAdam slightly.
Well, there we are. You heard it first from Paul Pavletics. Maybe it's the truth. It's barely 1 mile around the cemetery circuit, the Sanyong Cemetery Circuit. And I tell you what, if you can make those bikes as wide as possible, it's oh so difficult to pass. Here is the onboard shot from the man in second place at the moment. And there you see just the dot in the distance. That is Craig Sheriff. So look at the lead he's got as they work into the first turn. Down the Rush Hire Straight. Now it's another right-hander. All the turns pretty much 90-degree corners. Then it's out onto the high equipped straight. Look at this battle here. McAdam on the inside, Thomas Eddy on the outside. Now this is the straightest part of the cemetery circuit. This long back straight alongside the river here at Wanganui. Across the railway lines they go. I thought McAdam was going to have a look down the inside. Didn't work for him, so they'll have to regroup, try again. Heading up through the Suzuki S's, right through the cemetery now. Heading into the Robert Holden turn. Thomas Eddy holds on to it. McAdam is the next one. The battle for 3rd and 4th. Out in the front, of course, it's the man we ride with here. This is John Hepburn. He's currently in 2nd place. But this man, the wheelie, the victory wheelie, perhaps the checkered flag comes out, and Craig Sheriff gets win number 1 in the book on what should be a busy day for him. In 2nd place, it will be the man from Timaru, and that was John Hepburn. And in 3rd place, the Australian Alex Thomas Eddy. Behind him, it was bike number 9, Derek McAdam. Good dice in the early going with Johnny, but then you just cleared away.
Yeah, once I passed Johnny, I didn't look back. I got a mate giving me some signals out there with the pit board just to tell me what the gap was, and I seen a 3 on there and I thought it was 0.3, so I kept going, but it actually said 3 seconds, so I didn't realise until the last lap. I had a bit of a quick look and there's no one there, so I just eased off a bit on the last lap. Saved myself for the big race.
Pirelli Tyres brings you this one. It is Formula 1 Wanganui over 8 laps. We are sitting on the 2nd row. Bike 69, Jared Love on the inside, the red machine as they get away. Great start from Brian Bernard. Bike number 3, the Bernard Racing Suzuki. Good start too from number 52, Johnny Hepburn, this time on the Aprilia. And a fantastic start from bike number 99, and that was Lance Lowe.
Now, Brian Bernard will want to do well here. This is his hometown. All his mates have come to watch him, so we're going to see some fireworks from Bernard.
So Bernard it is out on the Suzuki in the front. Then it's the Aprilia, the Eric Wood Motorcycles Aprilia, John Hepburn at the wheel. 99, the Mount Eden Motorcycles Kawasaki New Zealand machine of Lance Lowe. Bruce Anstey in there as well, and right in behind him, our camera bike, and that is Jared Love on the Honda.
I think the Honda's going to do very well here today. They're a talky motor. I've mentioned this before. They've got a lot of punch out of the corners, and they handle so well.
At the moment, he is just, is he playing a waiting game as they head up over the Vespa Bridge for the first time. 3, the local hero, Brian Bernard, the resident here at Wanganui, out on the front. 52, Johnny Hepburn, about to be swamped. Jared Love just starting to move down onto the inside as they work their way through the Repco turn. Has there been a change? No, there hasn't. Bruce Anstey's got a little bit closer to Hepburn, though. You would expect the Suzukis and all the Japanese bikes to just pull up on the Aprilia as we watch now, riding with Jared Love. Just up ahead of him, it's Bruce Anstey. Great to see Bruce back on a street circuit in New Zealand.
Oh, big slide. I think the ultimate bike round here would be a big, powerful V-twin. The bike that Johnny Hepburn's riding is fairly mildly tuned, so it's not going to have the grunt of these big 1,000 Suzukis, for instance.
So the action gets a little bit closer as they work their way through the pit corner, down through Kawasaki and heading for the Vespa Bridge now. You're on board with Jared Love. Oh, and Johnny Hepburn's bike gets a bit of a head shake, and that's only the encouragement that Bruce Anstey needs. He dives down through the inside. Very difficult to go fast through there. Paul Pavletics, that's an off-camber corner.
Yeah, it is. It's probably the most slipperiest corner in New Zealand road racing in the wet.
So expert comments coming from Paul Pavletics as we watch Bruce Anstey starting to reel in Brian Bernard. Bernard number 3 on the Bernard Racing Suzuki Sanyong Vehicles sponsored machine. There is the Sawyer Motorcycles Museum Hotel bike of Bruce Anstey. Now he comes into Wanganui on a bit of a hot streak. He's had a good season up in Europe and he is leading the New Zealand Road Racing Championship in the Open Superbike competition. Jared Love now sits up into 3rd place, so we've lost Johnny Hepburn out there somewhere.
You've got to remember too that Bruce Anstey, he is the Isle of Man lap record holder for production bikes. What an amazing achievement. This will be like doing a marathon around his clothesline.
Number 3, Brian Bernard holds on to the front running. Anstey in second. Oh, it gets a lot closer as they go down through the gearbox, hard on the brakes through turn 1. Anstey gets closer to Bernard, and look at Jared Love just waiting for a little bit of a mistake, a chink in the armour, and he'll be through. Can't find it though as they work down the long straight here. Across the railway line they go now, up through the Suzuki S's. This circuit, as we told you, just over a mile in length, 1.6 kilometres, so everything happens here at double speed.
This is a good passing point right here, up the inside. There he goes.
And the advice taken from Paul Pavletich, and Bruce Anstey moves into the front through the Robert Holden turn now. Into the pit corner they go, and it is Anstey on the Suzuki. It is Brian Bernard on the Suzuki, and then it is number 69, and that is Jared Love on the Honda. We're on board here with Jared Love, and look at the lean angles as they work their way through the off-camber, down the Jenny at home front straight, and into turn number 1. Hard on the brakes, and look at the body language on Brian Bernard there, just right off the bike as he goes through the right-hander.
Well, these guys are holding a much tighter line than they want to hold down that straight. They want to go a bit wider, but there's so much cement dust on the track there. You don't want to be braking in cement dust. You're going to end up in the hay bales.
Well, we've certainly seen a few bikes in the hay bales in the earlier going, and that's the reason for the cement dust. Hopefully there won't be any here as they work their way up through the Suzuki S's again, heading for Robert Holden. We're on board here with Jared Love, and he just can't quite make an impression on Brian Bernard at the moment. Another thing, Paul, I guess we've got to talk about is the white lines, and some of these white lines have been recently repainted.
Yeah, they're pretty slippery. Now look at Jared Love's bike. The thing is handling just perfectly. It's not wiggling, it's not bucking, it's just immaculate.
Well, we talk of the white lines, we talk of the traction, we've got to talk about the tyre wars. The front runner's on Pirellis, the Honda is on Michelin. So we've got a bit of a tyre war going on here as well. Craig Sheriffs just comes round the second turn there in 4th place. And remember, he's on a 600cc machine. Okay, it's slightly hot-rodded. He runs a different CSL cam in it. Oh, number 3, Brian Bernard nearly throws it away.
Yeah, he just put the throttle on too quick.
So this battle is closing in at the moment. Number 43, Barry Long, playing a part as well. On board with Jared Love. He looks on the outside of Brian Bernard, and Craig Sheriffs is there on the inside. So Bernard is being gang tackled, if you like, as they work their way heading up over the bridge once more. You're on board with Jared Love. Ahead of him, the man in 2nd place. That's Brian Bernard. And there goes Craig Sheriffs. And what a place to make a pass, and what a time to do it. Checkered flag flies for Anstey, and in 2nd place, just by the skin of his teeth, it'll be Brian Bernard. But what a ride from Craig Sheriffs. He'll go through in 3rd, and behind him it will be our camera bike, and that will be Jared Love, and that is the way the judges saw it as well. 5th place, Lance Lowe. In 6th, Johnny Hepburn, and in 7th, Sean Harris. Tell us about the pass on Brian Bernard.
Yeah, it's just the usual sort of pass up the inside to the flower garden, sort of hold the inside line there and sort of get a good run out and away from him. But got a good start, 4th position, as I slowly worked my way through them all and got Brian and sort of just try and get a gap on him, and it all went to plan.
Easily the biggest field of the day is the Post Classics, and this one brought to you by Richard Scott Motors. And Richard Scott riding, that's him down on the inside on the left-hand side of your screen as we watch them come into the Repco turn. But it's an Australian that's going to lead them through on the Richard Scott Suzuki. So the Aussie out in the front, Stuart Laurie from New South Wales. Another one like the Australian contingent we've got here that has never ridden on a street circuit before.
Oh, no, come on. This is not acceptable. An Aussie who hasn't been here before leading the race. Come on.
Well, a man that has been here before, in fact, was a record holder for many, many moons, is the man currently in 2nd place, and that's Richard Scott. There he is, bike number 65.
Yep, Scotty, the outright lap record holder here back in the mid-80s on a Honda 500. Let's see what he can do.
Dives up the inside as they work their way toward the big crowd, and there is a huge crowd here at Wanganui. Oh, and he's just drifted a little bit wide, and that's cost him, and the Australian goes back into the front. Tell you what, there's a man lurking in the background there, bike number 256. No stranger to winning here at Wanganui. That is Stephen Bridge from Hamilton, so keep an eye on him. But at the moment, it's Suzuki on Suzuki.
Yeah, I think the Ducati would be the pick of bikes around here. Very, very torquey and excellent handling motorbike.
So down the Rush Hire short chute, Laurie in the front on the GSX 1100. Oh, and Richard Scott's got it wrong again.
Yeah,
maybe he thinks he's on his NS Honda because he just can't quite get the braking right. No. There's that man I said, Stephen Bridge, I beg his pardon, moves up a spot.
Scotty's too good to be making those errors. I think he must have some brake problems. Now, this bike's been prepared by Bob Toomey, a New Zealand Formula 1 champion and a Grand Prix mechanic. It'll be the most powerful machine out there. I've heard it's got 145 horsepower at the rear wheel. That's incredible for a post-classic.
You know, you mentioned it before, Paul. That's going to be a bit of a handful around here.
Yeah, particularly if the brakes aren't working properly.
284, got the number wrong earlier. That is Stephen Bridge on the Ducati. Richard Scott back into third place, but the Australian leads as they go across the stripe with about 3 to go. Happens all so quickly here at Wanganui, just 6 laps, and it's less than a mile a wrap. Further down the field, Murray Rollinson there on bike number 8 all the way from Porirua, and bike number 1 is Graham Moorhead on the Suzuki from Auckland. So they've come from near and far, as they do every year, and they've been doing it for well over 50 years. And the post-classics, as we said, the biggest field of the day, the most exciting racing, and right under our camera we see the pass for first and second. Stephen Bridge goes into the front on the Ducati, and the Australian can sign back the second. That'll make you a bit happier, Paul.
Yeah, I think that's what I wanted to see. The Duke's going to clear off. It has to.
Richard Scott still in third place as they pick their way through the lap traffic now. But as I said, this man no stranger to winning on the streets in the Battle of the Streets competition. Of course, from Wanganui we go through to Paira later on in February, and this man will want to carry the points into Paira as well. 294, the Ducati of Stephen Bridge out in the front.
Come on, Kiwi. Are co-commentators allowed to be biased, Phil?
Well, I think they are when there's an Australian in the mix. I'm sure of it. And there's quite a few Australians here at Wanganui making the trip from the New South Wales. Number 116 going through there is one of the legends of the cemetery circuit. That's Curly Mickelson from nearby Waverley. But he hasn't had the race he'd like to remember, I don't think, because he is in danger of being lapped by this man, Stephen Bridge, out on the front, and already he's put a bit of daylight between himself and second place. So New Zealand pride has been restored, Paul Pavletic.
Yeah, I'm very happy. This Duke just sounds gorgeous too. Listen, it's thumping its way down the straight.
Second flag comes out, and it is Stephen Bridge takes the win. In second place, it will be the Australian, and that was Laurie. And in third place, number 65, the past lap record holder, as you heard Paul Pavletic say, and that is Richard Scott. The race was brought to you by Richard Scott, and he got third. Well, this is the first of the big ones of the afternoon. This is the Robert Holden Memorial. It's over 15 laps, and it's the top 30 qualifiers by time that have made the grid. And these guys, well, a little bit of the pomp and pageantry of World Superbikes. They've been sitting on the grid for quite some time. Great to see the grid girls there in all the colour. Jared, this is a bit different from Wanganui.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty good event this year, eh? Got a little bit of effort into the organising and stuff, and it's paying off. It's pretty nice.
What's the tactics for the Robert Holden?
Try and win it. Craig's on the gas. Everyone here is fast enough to win it, so pretty much got to get a start, and we'll see what happens.
Well, you heard the siren in the background, and that means there's 2 minutes to go now before the grid start. Paul, you were saying you don't like this idea.
Well, it's great for the carnival atmosphere, but you don't want to be sitting on a bike for 10 minutes before a race. Your tyres are stone cold.
Away we go. Well, we'll see if that comment comes into play as they work into the first turn. And here's a bit of a surprise. It's Lance Lowe that's going to lead them into Repco for the first time. Jared Love is right there. So too is Craig Sheriffs. But you see Sheriffs on the 600 just being swamped as they go down the short chute. Be interesting to see where he comes out as they work their way onto Taupo Key for the first time. Lance Lowe in the front. Love in second. Sheriffs in third. And then it looked like Bruce Anstey, but we'll go back and check that. Oh, a big moment there.
There's those cold tyres. 160 horsepower.
Working their way through the Suzuki S's. You're on board with Jared Love as we take these fantastic shots through the Robert Holden turn. They go now.
Yeah, they'll just be feeling their way at the moment. They won't be putting in the real hot laps. They'll just be getting those tyres a bit of temperature into them.
Well, that's right. You know, if we thought that the 6-lap races were sprints, this is an endurance race because it's double the distance and then some. Big wheelie, that's all he knows how to do. That's Lance Lowe in the front. 69 Love in second. Jared sitting in the catbird seat at the moment, but Craig Sheriff's right in behind him. Then it's Anstey. Then it looked like Brian Bernard. So all the heavy hitters, Paul, it's only taken them a lap to start to show out.
That's right. And Lance Lowe, talking about wheelies, he is a wheelie king. He's just incredible. I've seen him do 200 km/h wheel stands. Brilliant.
Well, he finished on the podium last year in the Robert Holden Memorial races. It was slightly different format. We had 3 quick-fire heats. They have gone, and so too is the defending champion. No Johan Bruns here, but we have got Lance Lowe back, and he's leading it. And it's going to help his pocketbook as well, because in a new innovation, every lap lead is $100.
Well, that's a motivation. You'd have to say that Bruce Anstey's fitness level has got to be at the sharp end of this field.
Well, expert comments coming from a man that has won every single class here at the Cemetery Circuit, but for the moment is sitting alongside of me, getting really excited as we go back on board here with Jared Love, currently sitting in second place. Down the short chute they come through the 90-degree right, out onto the high-equipped straight.
Well, it really gives you a good feeling on the bike cams go around the track. It's so exciting. This has got to be the best road circuit for, for action in the country.
Well, Bruce Anstey moving up a spot as he displaces Craig Sheriffs, so he's gone into third. Lowe still leads it, then it's Love. Look how hard they're on the brakes, the back wheel just skimming the ground.
I love the Honda. It handles just superbly. Now look at the 600. Sheriff, he's making a charge. He's hauling them in on the little 600.
Well, he's riding the Hot Rod 600 in this one. He runs a slightly different camshaft setup on the bike, and it seems to make the difference. Up and over the bridge they come, down the Sanyong straight they go. 69 Love looking for the running on the inside as they work for the right-hander. Has he got it? Yes, he has. Yes, he has. Jared Love goes into the front. I think Anstey sneaks up on the shoulder of Lance Lowe as well. He can't make the pass stick. Down the back straight they come now. Who's got the horsepower? Big wheelies from the Kawasaki. We see it out of every corner, Paul.
Well, that could be a number of things. Bulk horsepower. It could be running really low gearing as well, which makes them want a wheel stand. And he could also be running the spec shock a little bit stiff.
So Bruce Anstey moves up into second place now. Sheriff dives down the inside of Lance Lowe. So in the space of half a lap, Lance Lowe has gone from first to fourth.
Well, that's got to be disheartening, doesn't it?
Well, he's pocketed something like $400 for the laps led, but I'm sure he would like to have been there when the checkered flag flew. It's not going to happen for him this time. Maybe it'll happen for this man. 69, a new lease of life on the red machines. This is Jared Love out of Hamilton on the Honda.
Jared the Love Machine, chased by Bruce Almighty. All these guys have got nicknames.
Bruce Anstey, of course, making a welcome return to the Cemetery Circuit here at Wanganui. A welcome return to New Zealand after a fantastic last few years in Europe, and of course culminating with that win in the Isle of Man. And he's not going to be satisfied without a win. Oh, look at that. How close do you want to go? Jared Love survived. I don't think Anstey did. We saw the foot come out. Everyone's looking behind. The yellow flags are flying. Let's hope that Bruce is okay. But that was, well, you could put a cigarette paper between them. That's as close as you'd seen it.
Yeah, he just went in way too hot. He ran out of room. He got the door slammed in his face, and I think he's clipped the hay bales. Yep.
Well, there he is there, Bruce, retrieving the bike off the racetrack. But the good news is he's up and walking around, but he won't be taking too much more part in this one.
Well, this would have given Jared a bit of a break as well, because those guys, you could see them looking at the carnage. So he's gone. He's bolted.
You're on board with the new race leader in Heat 1 of the Robert Holden Memorial, decided over 15 laps, brought to you by Nationwide Accessories, and it's the red Honda of Love in the front, and already he's starting to get into the lap traffic, because I can tell you there is no one of consequence in front of him. There's one of the Australians in the field, bike number E, this is Etheridge, another one having his first go at Wanganui, first go on the street circuit, and you got to say, Paul, they're acquitting themselves very well.
Yeah, they're doing a good job.
95, Craig Flood. Well, we've seen him in the Super Motard race, but he is now a lap down on the race leader, Jared Love, picking his way through the lap traffic. Oh, and being slowed just a little bit. That's going to play into the hands of the second place man, who at the moment isn't on your screen. That's the lead that Jared Love's got.
Australians just seem to, they've got a factory to make good road races. You know, it's really, really hot, the sport in Australia. They just crank them out one after the other.
We're on to the last lap here in the heat number 1 of the Robert Holden Memorial. Jared Love out in the front in second place. Well, the last time we looked, it was Craig Sheriffs, and then it was... well, it was Bruce Anstey, but of course he's gone, so I think it'll be Lance Lowe back into 4th or 3rd place now. We'll check on that for you. Certainly no doubt about the race leader, working their way past Suzuki for the last time. Bike number 69, a motocross background, and that's got to help around here, Paul.
Sure does. It's a real stop, point and squirt track, and very similar to motocross.
Jared Love hasn't put a wheel wrong. as he works past the big crowd, probably the biggest crowd we've seen here for the last 10 or so years, I would say, and they're loving this. The action has been fast and furious. Jared Love making a bit of a nonsense of that last statement because he's cleared out. Up and over the Vespa Bridge he comes, down to the checkered flag, the big victory wheelie, so we don't see the flag from the onboard camera, but let me tell you that Jared Love wins it. He punches the air. In second place, I think it will be Craig Sheriff, but he's a long way back, and in third it would have been number 99, and that was Lance Lowe. Fourth place was number 3, the local Brian Bernard, and in fifth place it was 52, John Hepburn. I talked to you before the start and I said you got to be wary of that first turn. Didn't seem to bother you.
I knew I had to get the start, hey, and I was actually got a pretty good start and was sitting in second. I was actually just pacing myself because it's pretty much like an endurance race around here. It's so physical and stuff. And then I saw Bruce tried to poke a wheel and went down through the S's, which was real bad. So I hope I didn't knock him off in there. But I was just hoping to put the flag out.
Bruce, what happened in the Robert Holden?
Well, I sort of tried to go up sneak up the inside of him coming into the S's. I just sort of went up the inside of him. I don't think he quite saw me, so he sort of took his line, and I had to brake suddenly and bring the bike up, and I sort of just pushed me wide, and I sort of just caught the hay bales, and that was me, a bit of a tumble.
On the podium after the first heat of the Robert Holden Memorial, and it's Jared Love, Craig Sheriff and Lance Lowe. Welcome back to the Sangong Cemetery Circuit for 2004, last big motorcycle meeting of the year, and this is Formula 2, brought to you by Suzuki New Zealand, on board with John Hepburn, and once again he's got a good start and it looks like he'll lead them. Oh, I spoke too soon, but I think one's gone straight ahead.
It's about the safest corner on the whole track. You do have good runoff because you come down the start-finish line at such a pace, you need to slow down.
So the SPV Kawasaki slots into second because it is Craig Sheriff that has gone into the front on the 600.
Wow, full marks to the film crew. This is just brilliant coverage.
Down past Suzuki, they race through the S's now, heading up towards the Robert Holden turn, down through the cemetery. This is where all the big crowd gather.
That's a
down
blind
through
corner
the gearbox.
too, Phil. That's a blind corner. You're cranking in that at 90 mile an hour. All you can see is hay bales. You don't know, after a while you get to know what's around the corner, but it's all courage.
Through the Kawasaki turn and heading up over the bridge for the first time. 56, Craig Sheriff out of Palmerston North, part of a very famous motorcycling family in New Zealand, has got this one by the throat as well. Second place man, we ride with him. This is John Hepburn from Timaru on the Kawasaki this year, and it really has given him a new lease of life. He told me earlier he was a little bit disillusioned with the bike scene, but now he is back to his best. Brett Finley on the Kawasaki, number 73. Got a bit of work to do. He might have been the man that overshot turn number 1, but he is right out of this one for the moment.
Well, it's a cheap option to go racing. You can buy these machines for $16,000. You know, they're easy to ride. They've got 105 horsepower. They weigh 160 kilograms, so they're really exciting and fun to ride. They're not intimidating.
I guess the scary thing is, Paul, that the speeds they go, these bikes are pretty much as they're sold, aren't they? Pretty much production trim.
Yeah, they've got a modified exhaust on them, Yoshimura or Micron or whatever, but that's basically it.
On board here with John Hepburn up over the Vespa Bridge he comes, currently sits in second place. Just got a glimpse in that previous shot of Derek McAdam. There he is, bike number 9. And bike number 5, when we talk about second-generation drivers and riders in motorsport in New Zealand, there's a graphic example because this is young Hayden Fitzgerald, bike number 5, and he is the son of Terry Fitzgerald. And you'll see Terry a little bit later on in our coverage.
Well, it must be so much fun for a father and son to go travelling around the country racing motorbikes. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
Well, it'd be the dream job, I would think.
Yep.
McAdam and Fitzgerald battling it out for the minors. Out in the front, Craig Sheriff doing a fantastic job, as he has done in so many of these races. Big field of Formula 2 bikes, 23. What a prodigy this young man was. Had a big crash a couple of seasons ago, still coming back from that. In fact, had a first Wanganui you'd like to forget. That's Carl Morgan.
Yeah. And his father used to race as well.
That's right, another second-generation driver or rider, as we're back on board with John Hepburn. And once again, the dot in the screen just up in the front there is Craig Sheriff, and it's a fast disappearing dot.
Here comes McAdam. It's good to see Kawasaki back with a vengeance as well. They've been a little bit quiet lately, but they've got a really good range of motorcycles this year.
So this battle with Craig Gollop, number 4 on the Yamaha. Behind him, number 23, young Carl Morgan, part of the young development program here, instigated by Motorcycling New Zealand. We're back on board with John Hepburn. Across the railway line he goes, the left-right combination, up past Suzuki. Oh, there goes Derek McAdam. Well, he gathered up all the courage and just, well, Hepburn maybe just left the door a little bit open. Will he do that in the Robert Holden turn?
Well, that's disappointing after holding him out for so long to get mugged like that. Looked pretty easy.
Greg Percival about to be the next one lapped by our race leader. That is Craig Sheriff on the Haldane Motorcycles, Alpine Stars machine. Checkered flag comes out. He puts another win in the book. He is unstoppable here at the Sanyong Cemetery Circuit. So Craig Sheriff wins another one. In second place, it was bike number 9, and that was Derek McAdam from Wellington. In third place, Timaru's John Hepburn, and in fourth, Hayden Fitzgerald.
The Haldane 600 Suzuki's going real good. It's not a lot different to riding the other one. It's just got a little bit more horsepower, but the lap times are quite similar. But I think I'll ride the hotted up one in the Robert Holden race and see how we get on.
Well, these guys always get the crowd to the fences. This is the Dauman Keon Honda sponsored sidecars here at the Sanyong Cemetery Circuit. Oh, and there's drama right on the start line. It looks like number 10, the Lawrence brothers from Auckland, have stalled the machine, and that's good news for Phil Law and Gus Ravenswood because they've gone into the front. So it's the Gisborne combination in the lead. Paul, have you ever wanted to do this?
Well, I've had a go, and it's really scary, man. I tell you, it's very frightening and extremely physically demanding. These guys are built like gorillas, the good ones. It's so hard to hang on to these things.
Well, once again, here at the Sanyong Cemetery Circuit, we've got the Trans-Tasman battle because rig number C is Doug Shivers. Now, if you've ever followed sidecar racing in New Zealand in the last 10 or 20 years, you'll know that name because he had the outright track record here at Wanganui. He was a past New Zealand sidecar champion, and yes, he's an ocker. He used to swing with Margaret Halliday, but today he is swinging with Mitchell Cliff. Watch for number C, Doug Shivers from Australia.
The guy's a legend. I love this number 74, this old Triumph. Watch, whoa, served him up. Did you see that? He just whacked him.
Well, some real problems there. Rig number 5 it was that got involved. Race leader continues to be Law and Ravenswood. They're sort of starting where they left off in the National Championship. They really had a great outing at Ruapuna, carried on the good luck at Invercargill. Now they are running in first place to the legend, Doug Shivers. Shivers looks around. He sees that there's nothing but clear track for a long way behind him, and now he will start to mount the charge.
Well, Shivers has got a big box of tricks to pull from as well.
The amazing thing is, Paul, that these guys didn't get to do much practice or qualifying. They had a problem with the rear hub, and they didn't do the required laps in the qualifying. I said to Doug Shivers, would it bother him? He said no, he didn't think so. And that's how it's panning out because he currently sits in second place. Ahead of them, though, Phil Law and Angus Ravenswood. We're back on board with our camera machine, and this is the Lawrence brothers, and they were involved in that altercation earlier on, Paul.
Yeah, there was a real bit of biff going. Bring back the biff.
Well, these guys certainly know how to do it. Back to the front of the field now, and Doug Shivers just lining up the Gisborne pairing here as they work into turn number 1. These guys, well, what do you say about these blokes?
Oh, these guys are crowd pleasers and they're legends. Look at this thing go, will you? Smoking up the tyres.
Bruce Williamson and Paul Blinkhorn on the Triumph 650. They're worth the price of admission, make no mistake about it.
Oh, I just love watching these guys. They're real showmen. They're locals.
So back into the racing proper, and the lap rigs are going to play a part in this as well. The Gisborne pairing hanging on by the skin of their teeth at the moment. The Aussies coming through here as well. Watch the way the swinger moves left and right. Moves his weight fore and aft, trying to get the control that they're looking for as they work their way through these mostly 90-degree turns. So Gus Ravenswood and Phil Law hang on, but for how much longer as they work their way towards the Vespa Bridge? And here comes the Australian down the inside. They set up for the left-hander here, and the Australians have got track position, and there's nothing that the Kiwis can do about it. So the best part of 15 odd years since he's raced here before, Doug Shivers back in the front. The Gisborne boys aren't going to give it up without a fight. They try to dive down the inside. Shivers sees it coming and moves over.
Yeah, he shut the gate on him and he's lost his drive. Number 2 just had to slam the brakes on, lost his drive out of the corner, and now Shivers is really doing a bolter.
Well, Doug Shivers and Mitch Clough doing the job here at Wanganui, as they did in the Brute Countrywide Series an eon ago now. And these guys, well, they get the biggest cheer wherever they go. The Triumph's an oldie, they're locals. It's Bruce Williamson and Paul Blinkhorn.
It looks like the tyres are going to peel off the rims.
Well, I said to them earlier on, do they have a tyre sponsor? Because they must go through them. Back on board here with the Lawrence brothers. currently sitting in about 4th place at the moment, I think, working up from that terrible start. They stalled the machine on the line. Now they're making up for lost time. But one thing you've got to remember is that the 600cc machine really pays the price in horsepower. And I guess, Paul, even on a track as small and as tight and twisty as this, that makes a difference.
Well, I think it would be even worse on a track like this, because you need to brake really hard on Wanganui. You need to turn them out and just punch out of the corners. And the 600 carrying 2 people, it's just not going to do it.
Look at Mitch Clough just all over the back of the Shibbo's engineering machine as they dispose of yet another lap combination. That was Bill and Paul Newton. Now they come up onto rig number 11 and they just disappear there as well. Heading down the Jenny and Holmes start-finish straight they come now. Doug Shivers back to where he belongs. He's got 1 lap to do it and he'll clinch his first win here at the Sanyong Cemetery Circuit for the best part of 15 years.
Well, that's just got to be such a great feeling. Mitchell Clough looks like a really tall guy, doesn't he?
He is. He is a long, lanky drink of water, but I talked to Doug about that. It's such a difference from his earlier swinger, Margot Halliday. She was quite a compact woman, and Mitch is a big, long boy, but as Doug told me, the weight distribution works just the same.
Whoa, big snake.
So this is the race leader, Doug Shivers and Mitchell Clough from Australia, working their way down towards the big crowd at the start-finish area. He'll get a huge ovation, I'm sure. History in the making here at the Sanyong Cemetery Circuit. Here he is now, just a couple of turns to go. Oh, and there's problems for the Triumph. What's happened to the boys from Wanganui?
Well, it's either Nugget itself or broken a chain.
Over the Vespa Bridge for the last time for rig number C. Doug Shivers and Mitch Clough take out the win. Virtually uncontested here at the Sanyong Cemetery Circuit. A fine display of riding. In 2nd place it will be the Gisborne pairing of Phil Law and Angus Ravenwood. And in 3rd place it's number 27, Dave Annan and Phil Duffy. Behind them it was rig number 3, Brian Wyatt and Ian Mitchell-Moore.
More motorcycling in a moment. First, taking the inside line on Motorsport News, and a brilliant performance from Michael Pickens at Tulsa, Oklahoma. 6th overall and Rookie of the Year at what is regarded as the Super Bowl of the sport. Team Kiwi has Alan Draper on board this year, an experienced engine technician. He was with Team Dynamic last year. Scott Dixon begins his year in the 24-hour sports car race at Daytona. It's his 2nd crack at it. Gene Rollinson gets the chance of a lifetime to drive in one of the support categories to the Malaysian Grand Prix after success in the Formula Challenge. And the Crusty Demons are here with their motocross mayhem in March, with shows in Auckland, Wellington and Christchurch, as we return to the street race at the Cemetery Circuit in Wanganui.
One of the highlights of this year's Sanyong Cemetery Circuit took place off the bikes when New Zealand motorcycling icon Rod Coleman was honoured with a Legend Lap of Honour.
Here's a good scrap for 5th place between Dickie Dale's MV and Rod Coleman's AJS.
Coleman completed his lap of honour on a 1954 AJS, the same sort of bike he rode to victory in the Junior TT at the infamous Isle of Man. Besides his exploits on 2 wheels, his father set up Percy Coleman and Company. And in the late 50s, Rod travelled to Japan to secure the Suzuki franchise, basing it here in Wanganui. Rod, there's no doubt about it, you richly deserve it, but did you ever think you'd be honoured like this in your hometown?
No, no, I didn't, I'm afraid. No, and I very much appreciate it.
Over the last few weeks, you've had a chance to rub shoulders with Bruce Anstey and with Ben Townley. Do you see a lot in those guys of the young Rod Coleman?
I see them more mature, I think, than I was at their age. I really admire those 2 fellows because they speak very well. They're a really top icon for young people.
Well, back to the action here at the Sanyong Cemetery Circuit for 2004. This one brought to you by Pirelli Tyres. It's Formula 1 Wanganui race number 2. And I'm sure Paul Pavletich, Bruce Anstey will be looking for some redemption here.
Yeah, he will. Lance Lowe always gets great starts, doesn't he?
Well, he's done it again too as they work their way into turn number 1. 69, remember, he carries our camera. That is Jared Love out of Hamilton on the Honda. Lance Lowe through in second place. Bike number A there, Bruce Anstey just in behind Brian Bernard at the moment. And Craig Sheriff's there again, Paul.
Yeah, he is. Remember, these guys are on cold tyres, and there's a graphic example. Big slide.
Well, that's a problem for our camera bike. That's Jared Love, and I think the bike's stopping. The field just streaming by, so some problems for the Hamiltonian. Good luck for this guy, though. Number 99, Lance Lowe, goes back into the front.
No, the cash register's ringing. The $100 notes are filing their way in.
Well, it must be a mechanical problem for the Honda because he is coming to a grinding halt on the side of the racetrack. And there he is. He's fixed it. Whatever it was, he's got it going again. But, man, if he's going to be in the points in this, he's going to have to ride the wheels off that thing.
Well, it must be an electrical fault to be intermittent like that.
99, the race leader, as he always does, with the front wheel clawing the air. Lance Lowe, the Mount Eden Motorcycles, Kawasaki New Zealand sponsored machine. Anstey through into second place, 56 Sheriffs into third, and behind him it'll be number 3, the local lad, the veteran of the cemetery circuit, that is Brian Bernard.
Well, there's a lot of pressure on Brian, and he hasn't had a great year to date, not by his standards anyway. Remember, Brian Bernard was right at the pointy end last year. He's struggling a bit this year. I'm not quite sure what's going on there.
Well, I guess you mentioned the word pressure. He runs his own motorcycle racing team, Brian Bernard Racing, with a bit of help from Suzuki, Pirelli, Sanyong. So I guess the pressure on and off the racetrack, Paul.
Well, it could be. You know, a lot of it's in the head.
Well, this isn't in the head. This is graphically on your screens at the moment. Look at that. He makes the easiest of passes on Lance Lowe as he works his way into turn number 1. Bruce Anstey, I said I thought he was out for redemption. I think that's what we're going to see here.
Well, Craig Sheriff's on a charge too. He's carrying a lot more cornering speed than these big motorbikes on the 600.
Well, that's right. He's got to do that because he's got to make up the horsepower disadvantage, and it's quite considerable, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah, it is. There's probably about 30 horsepower difference, maybe even more.
Anstey in the front, holding on hard, is Lance Lowe, the Aucklander. Last year, he was on a privateer Suzuki, made it to the podium in the Robert Holden Memorial Series. It was 3 heat races this year. This year, it is only 2. We've got the second one to come. This is Formula Wanganui, though, and this man is on a mission. Bruce Anstey, originally out of Wellington, and now based back in Wellington, but for the last 3 or 4 years has been domiciled on the other side of the world and doing some fantastic things on motorcycling, not the least of a win in the TT at the Isle of Man.
And setting a lap record at the Ulster and the Isle of Man, 125 mile an hour, just unbelievable.
I guess all the factory teams will be having the name Bruce Anstey noted into their diaries.
Well, he could certainly demand some serious checks to ride at the Isle of Man, that's for sure.
Well, this guy could demand some checks as well. The man I'm talking about is currently in 3rd place on the 600cc machine, the Holden Motorcycles machine. Craig Sheriffs, he was the fastest overall last year at the cemetery circuit on the 600 by 4 100ths of a second from Brian Bernard. But man, he is putting on a show here today.
Well, I'm not sure if it's concentration or fitness, but Lance Lowe just gets incredibly good starts, and then they just seem to whittle him away.
Well, one man that will be suffering a little bit in the fitness stakes is the man on your screen, bike number 56. Didn't do a heck of a lot of riding before the first round of the Motorcycle Trader and News Road Racing Championship. He had an infected leg after a practice motocross crash. Can you believe it?
Yeah, I believe he's an extremely good motocrosser as well.
Oh, this is an unusual shot. This is the camera shot coming from Jared Love's bike, and there is no one in cooey of him. That's the disadvantage he's in at the moment.
Oh, that's a bit of a heartbreak for him, isn't it?
Well, I guess he's using it as valuable track time. There's still the second heat of the Robert Holden to come. So Jared will probably be gathering up a little bit of data here, working out just how hard he can push the Honda without the confines of his competition around him.
Well, watching his bike in the earlier race, I think he's got the thing nailed. It's dialed in perfectly. It looked the best handling of all the bikes out there. It was dead stable. His Michelins were working well. He'll be really disappointed that the thing broke down at the start of the race.
Well, you get the feeling that Lance Lowe is about to be disappointed as well, because lurking behind him now, like a shark circling in the water, is Brian Bernard. There he is on the Suzuki, the Brian Bernard Racing Sanyong Motorcycle Suzuki, currently sitting in 3rd place, breathing down the neck of Lance Lowe. This man, though, well, we said he'd do it. He has. He's cleared away.
Yep, he's a hardened professional. This will be a breeze for him.
They had some problems earlier on with some brake pads. I think they've overcome those now. And Bruce Anstey on his way to a pretty easy win.
These Suzuki Thousands have just done an amazing job throughout the world. Matt Mladen won the American AMA Championship as well. Suzuki cleaned up here last year. They're an incredible motorbike.
The victory wheelie up on the pegs for Bruce Anstey makes it look easy. But look at the fast finish once again coming from that man, Craig Sheriffs. He goes through in second place. In third place, it will be Lance Lowe, so he holds off Brian Bernard. And in fifth place, it was bike number 52, Mr. Consistency, and that is John Hepburn. Jay, what happened in that last Formula One race?
Just approaching the S's, just at a little bit of a high side. Didn't come off, but it's just an anti-tip over sensor. Just kills the bike when it falls over, and unfortunately you've got to stop the bike and shut it down for 10 seconds, and it happened right in the middle of the S's, so it wasn't the best. But yeah, unfortunate, that's racing.
Radio Sport bring you Formula 3 over 6 laps here at the Sanyong Cemetery Circuit. As they get set to go, the visors come down. Watch for bike number 1. That is Terry Fitzgerald, awarded the Freedom of the Streets here last year. 95 going with him is Craig Flood on the Super Motard Honda. And it is the number 1 Suzuki that goes into the short shoot in first place.
Big combination of machines here too. We've got the SV Suzuki, a V-twin. We've got the 650 Honda in second. Then we've got this great little home-built Tigercraft 450 Yamaha powered machine in third place.
Well, this is an amazing little bike. It's basically an RS Honda frame with a YZ 450 4-stroke single-cylinder Yamaha engine shoehorned into it. And, well, they've changed the suspension around. Jason Easton is the pilot and the engineer. And you were saying before, Paul, this is pretty much the ultimate bike for around here.
It'd be fantastic. It's got incredibly good brakes. It's tight and very nimble. It probably weighs 95 kgs. It'd be great.
Well, one of the hallmarks of Formula 3 racing we've seen over the years is the closeness of the action. Look at Craig Flood. Look at the difference in the stature. He's like a barn door against the wind as the road racers, the pure road racers, dive down under the fairing. Jason Easton having a good long look at Terry Fitzgerald. Can't make the pass stick. And look at the upright position of Craig Flood. But the bike has got lots and lots of grunt. The 450 Honda, it really turns the wick up out of the corners.
Well, it'd be like a barn door, as you said. Look at the little aerodynamics of this 125. Just cut through the air like a knife.
Well, we saw a battle royal at the first round of the Motorcycle Trader and News Road Racing Championships between Jason Easton on the 12, Terry Fitzgerald, and Jason Nairn also on an SV 650 Suzuki, and they're going to repeat it here for the big crowd at Wanganui.
Let's have a look at number 12 up the inside, see if he's close enough. No.
Oh, he changes the direction. He goes for the outside as they work over the Vespa Bridge. Terry Fitzgerald holds on to the front. Don't discount bike number 95 yet. That is Craig Flood. He's been a monster in the Super Motards, but what about Jason Easton? Oh, and he's got it wrong, has he? Oh, I spoke too soon. He gathered it back up.
It's so light under brakes, it'll just eat them up.
Well, the man that did make the mistake was Terry Fitzgerald because it's allowed Craig Flood to go through up the inside as well. Graphic example of some of the bikes in this class, ex-motocrosses, older road racing bikes. Oh, and that's Craig Flood, and that's right over the railway lines. He didn't even make the Suzuki S's, and unfortunately, he looks like he's not in the best of shape. And now we've got the spectre of a fire here at the Sanyong Cemetery Circuit. Flood's just realised it. He's going to get out of the way. He gives the thumbs up to the officials. He's fine, but the flyer has taken hold.
He looks pretty relaxed, doesn't he?
Well, the red flag's fly, and I can tell you that the race has been declared, but all the action down here on the left-right combination. Johnny Reid, ex-road racer, ex-motocrosser, works to get the machine out of the way, but you see the flames. They are licking up like there's no tomorrow, and as yet, there is no sign of the fire brigade.
That is a one hot Honda.
Well, it certainly is. Well, we say we have drama here every year at the Cemetery Circuit. We don't expect this. That is an expensive barbecue. That's a CR450F going up in flames in front of your very eyes.
Well, it could be the fact that it's got a plastic petrol tank and it's scraped a hole in it.
Well, finally, the cavalry arrive and you can hear the sirens in the background, so the fire engine isn't too far away. Well, as we expected, the race is declared, and it is number 12. Jason Easton takes the win. In second place, Terry Fitzgerald. In third place, well, they've given it to him, even though he didn't finish, and that's Craig Flood. And in fourth, it was 55, Jaden Carrot. Well, this is the final stanza of the Sanyong Cemetery Circuit for 2004. This is heat number 2 of the Robert Holden Memorial over 15 laps.
I'm pleased to see, too, they've allowed them to put the tyre warmers on this time, so that's going to be much safer.
Once again, it is the fastest 30 qualifiers from races 10 through 16. So the creme de la creme are here. You heard the siren, so we are moments away from the start. We're on board here with Jared Love. He's sitting on the second row by the look of it. Just up ahead of him, it is number 52, Johnny Hepburn. Craig Sheriff's there as well. Into the first turn they come, and it looks like it'll be Bruce Anstey's going to lead them in. Love will go through into second place. Another great start from Lance Lowe, Paul Pavlidis.
Yeah, that Kawasaki just grunts off the line, doesn't it? Incredible.
Oh, and the big move coming from Jared Love to go up the inside of Anstey to go into the front. So as they work their way across the railway line and up through the Suzuki S's, it is Jared Love, bike number 69 in the lead. Anstey in second place. Then we go back to bike number 99. Behind him it's 56, Craig Sheriffs. And then behind Sheriffs, I think it is bike number 3, and that is Brian Bernard. So pretty much a replay of what we saw in the earlier heats. But remember, this race is twice the distance of what we've seen in Formula Wanganui, so anything can happen.
Well, Jared Love's really good under brakes. Anstey was serving them all up before, but Jared's holding his own. Whoa, big slide.
Oh, how lucky was Bruce Anstey. That was so close to a massive high side. Somehow he got it back, but it's cost him a bit of composure, and it's also maybe going to cost him a spot, because look who's lurking behind him, none other than the man of the moment, and that is Craig Sheriffs.
Oh, and he's in a big moment himself. These guys are really putting the pace on early in the race here. That was incredible. He nearly flicked it over the bars as well.
Well, I think their financial directors have told them that there's $100 for every lap led of this 15-lap race, so it's a pretty good payday if they can go from the start and stay there.
Well, it wouldn't be a bad thing, too, to go to work on Monday and tell everybody you beat the Isle of Man lap record holder as well.
I guess that's going through the mind of Jared Love at the moment. Anstey, though, look at the body language. He's hunkered down under the fairing there. He means business this time round, and he's going to have to mean business if he wants to pass the flying Hamiltonian.
Lance Lowe was right out of the seat then as well. It's really on for young and old.
Oh, and Sheriff's right on the curb as they go down past the Sanyong start-finish line. This is the battle at the front of the field. This is heat number 2 of the Robert Holden. Anstey, how about that? He has a quick look behind him.
I'm wondering if there's a bit of oil on the circuit, because they're all slipping and sliding all over the place.
Jared Love regains his composure at the front of the field, gets off the bike as he banks it into the right-hander across the railway line, up through the Suzuki S as they come, just over a mile in length, and it happens so quickly. And look at this battle at the front. It's Honda on Suzuki. Here comes the pass from Anstey. He made it look easy, Paul.
He did. He'll be disappointed at that. He left the gate wide open and Anstey just barged his way through. But I think they've got a big problem on their hands with Sheriff. He's looking hot.
Well, he's won all the Formula 2 races. He's won a Formula Wanganui race. And, of course, well, he's got second in the first Robert Holden. So are we going to see the battle royal between himself and number 69, Jared Love? Because it's all about points. This Robert Holden Memorial will go down to the wire at Pyra later on in February, and they will carry the points. And once again, Jared Love right out of the seat.
Yeah, this circuit's really hard on brakes and tyres, and the 600, it's not going to heat the tyres up anything like these big Grunter 1000s. So I reckon he's going to get stronger and stronger as the race goes on.
The Bike Mart, Robert Holden, race number 2, if you like, in this series. And 56, Craig Sheriffs has worked his way into second place. Anstey, has he disappeared? He's got a little bit of a gap. And normally when he does that, he gets his head down and he just works and works and works. Good scraps going on behind him. You saw Alex Tomasetti there from the New South Wales out of Sydney. He certainly hasn't disgraced himself here, Paul.
No, these Aussie boys have done themselves proud.
Anstey, Sheriffs and Love as they work their way down the short chute again.
Yeah, Love's going to recover after that slide. You know, he's going to take a bit of time to get back in composure, and he'll have the hammer down on that big Honda.
Oh, I tell you what, the danger man here has got to be Craig Sheriffs on the Haldane Motorcycle Suzuki 600. There he is, bike number 56. He's a past New Zealand Battle of the Streets champion. He's a past 600 Sports Prodi champion. You name it, he's won it, and he never knows when he's beaten. And look at this, having a look up the inside, a good long look, and the pass works. Oh, as they work their way over the bridge again, it's Sheriffs in the front.
I think Bruce Almighty just handed that corner to him. He wasn't going to fight for it.
Well, to take nothing away from Craig Sheriffs, talking to some of the top riders, and they were saying that you ride as hard as you have to here at Wanganui. It's such an unforgiving circuit. It can bite you, and when it does, it bites hard.
Yeah, there's just no room for margin. You've got curbs, lampposts, fences. You've got to respect this circuit or you're going to get slapped.
So battles within battles here as Derek McAdam comes up on bike number 63. But this is what's happening at the front of the field. Craig Sheriffs it is, starting to put a bit of a gap on his combatants here.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to make an interesting situation, Paul, because as we said in heat number 1, it was Jared Love in the front. Now it's Craig Sheriff. We could have a tied situation here. We'll just have to look and watch the progress of Love. At the moment, he's back in 3rd place. Anstey is the meat and the sandwich. He's on the Suzuki 1000, and he is in 2nd. This man on the 600, he's in command.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting when they go to Pyro. The big bikes will come into their own there on those big, long, fast straights.
Look at this. It's been the perfect display from Craig Sheriff as he works his way up and over the Vesper Bridge once again down onto the Jenny and Holmes start-finish straight. Checkered flag comes out and Craig Sheriff takes out heat number 2 of the Robert Holden Memorial. Now what's going to happen in 2nd place? It's Jared Love through in 2nd. Anstey's had a mechanical problem. Love's got up into 2nd. Anstey goes back into 3rd. Then in 4th place it's bike number 3. That's Brian Bernard. And in 5th it is Lance Lowe. We've got a tie in the Robert Holden Memorial.
Once I started to catch Bruce, it got me motivated, and then I was watching my pit board and I was actually getting a gap, so apparently had a mechanical problem, which probably helped me out quite a bit, but it was excellent on wraps. Suzuki's just going absolutely awesome.
What about that? The demon start again?
Yeah, Bruce was pretty good on brakes into turn 1. We had a good little duel there, so I squared him up and then smashed him down into the next corner and then tried to run. But he's a class act, Bruce. He just lined me up and it was just pretty much sitting in there. Then Craig Sheriff decides to jump into the equation as well on the little 600. So it's just the calibre of the guys that are in New Zealand at the moment, and it doesn't matter what they're on, still pulling the trigger and doing the good lap times.
And stay with us on Shell Helix Motors.